Welcome to the BuzzFlix, bringing you the latest news from around the world. On May 20th, 2025, the world witnessed an announcement that shattered decades of assumptions about the Taiwan Strait. In simultaneous press conferences, Beijing and Taipei unveiled the Cross-Strait Comprehensive Cooperation Framework Agreement. This wasn't unification or a simple trade deal, it was a sweeping plan for deep economic, technological, and cultural integration. The news sent shockwaves through global markets and diplomatic circles, signaling a dramatic recalibration of power in the Indo-Pacific. For years, the Taiwan Strait was the world's most dangerous flashpoint. Suddenly, it was being recast as a bridge. The agreement promised to maintain Taiwan's political and social systems under a new one framework, respective systems model, a notable shift from the one country, two systems approach. Leaders framed the accord as a pragmatic solution to avoid conflict and secure a stable future, reshaping global perceptions overnight. This move was the result of years of quiet diplomacy and a recognition of shifting global realities, economic interdependence, supply chain threats, and a shared fatigue with constant tension. President Xi Jinping and Taiwan's newly elected President Lai Ching-te, once seen as a pro-independence hardliner, now saw cooperation as the best path forward. The world was left to grapple with the implications. Two historic adversaries had chosen to intertwine their futures, forcing every other nation to reconsider its own strategy. The question was no longer if conflict would erupt, but how to adapt to a new reality where the protagonists had rewritten the script. To grasp the magnitude of the 2025 agreement, we must revisit the deep divide that shaped China-Taiwan relations. The split began in 1949, when the Communists established the People's Republic of China, and the Nationalists retreated to Taiwan, each claiming to be the sole legitimate government. This wasn't just a political standoff, it was the Asian front line of the Cold War, marked by military hostility and zero diplomatic contact. The US recognized Taiwan until 1979, then switched to Beijing, but kept unofficial ties and arms sales to Taipei, maintaining a delicate balance. Taiwan's transformation into a vibrant democracy in the 1990s fostered a unique Taiwanese identity, complicating cross-strait relations. Economic ties flourished even as political tensions simmered. By the 2020s, China was Taiwan's largest trading partner, especially in electronics. This paradox, deep economic integration amid political mistrust, set the stage for the dramatic shift of 2025. Both sides realized their economies were inseparable, even as their political paths diverged. The 2025 Accord was an attempt to reconcile this reality, forging a new way forward. The Cross-Strait Comprehensive Cooperation Framework Agreement rests on three pillars: economic integration, technological synergy, and cultural exchange. The first pillar creates a cross-strait free trade zone, eliminating tariffs on most goods and opening up investment in finance, telecom, and infrastructure. The goal, a single, competitive economic bloc combining China's scale with Taiwan's tech expertise. The second pillar establishes joint R&D in semiconductors, AI, quantum computing, and biotech, overseen by a new Advanced Technology Council. This merges Taiwan's chip leadership with China's AI and investment muscle, aiming to dominate global innovation. The third pillar promotes cultural and social exchange, easier travel, joint media projects, and shared historical curriculum to bridge decades of separation. Underpinning it all is a non-aggression pact and a direct military hotline, reducing deployments and replacing confrontation with communication. This security understanding is the bedrock for long-term cooperation. The agreement transforms the strait from a potential war zone into a corridor of commerce and innovation. Its implications for the Indo-Pacific are profound. The China-Taiwan Accord triggered global shock and a scramble to reassess strategy. The US, Taiwan's longtime security guarantor, was blindsided, its Indo-Pacific strategy suddenly outdated. Japan, deeply tied to Taiwan's security and the global tech supply chain, saw the new bloc as a direct threat. South Korea, another tech powerhouse, found itself caught between its US alliance and the emerging economic giant next door. ASEAN nations took a pragmatic approach, wary of Chinese dominance but eyeing economic benefits from regional stability. Europe called for clarity, worried about a new technological superpower and the challenge to its own strategic autonomy. Markets reacted instantly, defense stocks dipped, tech and logistics surged, and commodity prices swung as traders recalibrated. International organizations braced for legal and regulatory upheaval. The world wasn't just watching a political shift, It was witnessing the birth of a new economic and technological center of gravity. Every nation and corporation was forced to rethink its future. The global order was being rewritten in real time. The stakes had never been higher. The China-Taiwan alignment redraws the Indo-Pacific's geopolitical and security map. For China, it's a strategic victory, neutralizing the Taiwan flashpoint and expanding influence without conflict. The first island chain, once a U.S. containment line, is breached. The PLA Navy gains access to the Western Pacific. For Taiwan, the deal brings economic opportunity, but risks strategic autonomy, shifting its security from U.S. protection to economic indispensability. The region's security architecture is in flux. U.S. allies like Japan and the Philippines must rethink their defenses. The U.S. may pull back to a new defensive perimeter, creating potential power vacuums. Economically, the new bloc controls global supply chains, especially in technology, giving it immense leverage. This power could be weaponized in future disputes, dictating terms of trade and tech standards. Nations worldwide must now diversify supply chains and build domestic capabilities, a costly, urgent task. The alignment is a high-stakes gamble for all involved. The next decade will be defined by how the world adapts to this new reality. The balance of power has shifted. The true strength of the China-Taiwan alliance is in the numbers. Before the accord, bilateral trade topped $328 billion. China took 42% of Taiwan's exports. The free trade zone is projected to boost trade by 25% in 3 years, creating a $19 trillion economic entity. Taiwan, led by TSMC, produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors and 90% of the most advanced chips. China, the largest chip consumer, now gains direct access to this expertise, creating a vertically integrated semiconductor powerhouse. The combined manufacturing capacity is unmatched. China's scale meets Taiwan's precision and innovation. In electric vehicles, China's battery tech and mass production join with Taiwan's electronics, forming a global EV leader. China produces 1.5 million STEM graduates annually. Taiwan's universities are world-class innovators. Joint R&D spending will exceed $600 billion, fueling a formidable innovation engine. This strategic merger shifts the world's economic center of gravity eastward. The accord will fundamentally reshape global trade and supply chains. The Cross-Strait link, once the backbone of global tech, is now internalized within a single economic bloc. Efficiency rises for bloc members, but outsiders face new risks and dependencies. Countries like the US, Japan, and Germany must rapidly rethink supply chains, accelerating reshoring and friendshoring. Expect massive investments in chip plants in North America and Europe, and new supply routes through India, Vietnam, and Mexico. The Taiwan Strait, now a domestic corridor, will see streamlined trade for the bloc, but new barriers for others. China and Taiwan's combined maritime influence could reshape regional shipping and port control. Maritime nations like Japan and South Korea will invest more in securing sea lanes and diversifying ports. Winners will be those who adapt, others risk being left behind. The next decade's economic diplomacy will revolve around this new Eurasian core. Despite the optimism, the China-Taiwan alignment faces major challenges. In Taiwan, many see the deal as a threat to sovereignty and democracy, risking protests and political turmoil. The government must convince a skeptical public and manage dissent to keep the accord on track. On the mainland, the one framework respective systems model could inspire calls for more freedoms elsewhere, testing the Communist Party's control. Economic integration is complex. Taiwan's nimble SMEs must mesh with China's state giants, risking friction and stifled innovation. Intellectual property protection remains a sticking point. Diplomatically, the US and allies will likely form a counterbloc, intensifying competition and pressure. The new alliance will be tested by both internal dissent and external maneuvering. Its durability depends on delivering real benefits and withstanding global pushback. The future of the accord is anything but certain. The 2025 Cross-Strait Agreement marks a paradigm shift in global affairs. It ends a 75-year conflict and creates a new axis at the heart of the world economy. Deep integration replaces confrontation, redrawing strategic, economic, and technological maps. The combined bloc's leverage over supply chains translates into unprecedented geopolitical power. The world is splitting into rival spheres, a Sino-Taiwanese axis and a US-led coalition racing to adapt. Allies and rivals alike must reassess their strategies and dependencies. The era of a single US-led global system is over. Multipolar competition is the new norm. Whether this alignment brings stability or sparks new rivalries remains to be seen. The world has entered an uncertain era, and the outcome is still unwritten.